I don't know who needs to hear this, but please and please do not quit your job to start farming. Do not quit your job to venture into agriculture. This is why I think you shouldn't. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dennis Duke Uganda. If you're new here, please subscribe. Follow me on different social media platforms at Dennis Duke UG. This is the Duke's Farm, of course, where you have different conversation when it comes to agriculture. So why am I telling people not to quit their jobs to join farming? Yet for me, I am finding food in farming, and I'm encouraging more people to join farming, but I'm not encouraging more people to quit their jobs to join farming. This is the reason as to why I'm saying so. One thing that is very clear with agriculture is agriculture is a little bit tricky. Just like any other business, it has its own ups and it has its own downs. But how do we again synchronize between these downs and ups is the discussion that I'm of course going to talk to you today. In the recent past, I've received a couple of people here at the Duke's Farm, some of which are of course older than me, and they've reached or they are clocking that age of retirement, and they usually tell me, hey Duke, I want to quit my job to start farming. And I tell them no, and please no, that big no that you know about. So please, let's go into this discussion. So today I am speaking to a person out there who is tired of their job. I know I was once in that particular category of people who were tired of my job. Not necessarily being tired, but there were a couple of factors that led to my getting tired. And you could be out there and thinking, what should I do? And you've chosen to say, or you've decided to go into farming and you want to quit. Please do not quit. First, watch this video until the end, because I'm going to discuss with you what you need to do before you quit and why you shouldn't quit first, okay? Now, just before you got to know me as a farmer, I was doing a couple of things. I was a professional journalist. I am actually a professional journalist. Even today, as I speak to you, I still practice journalism, but not the other journalism that I was doing, just like this one. Away from that, the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee has grilled officials from the judiciary on the scam in the process of refunding bail cash. It has been discovered that over 14.9 billion Uganda shillings has been paid to claimants' lawyers without their consent. As if that is not enough, I was also at this station. General Mugisha Muntu has been cited accusing other party leaders of not developing their parties from the grassroots level. But as he launches his party next week, what we are looking forward to seeing him changing his words into action. Dennis Woniala, NBS, live at 9. Now, comparing these two things that I was doing this, I was doing that, I was doing literally a lot. But now I am into farming and I have loved this, I've fallen in love, and I'm advising a lot of people to join the farming business, but I'm not encouraging people to quit their jobs to actually start. And if you ever wish to quit your job to start farming, I also have a couple of messages for you that you need to do first. So first things first. The reason as why I'm telling people not to quit is because I want them to first prepare a safe landing. Now, safe landing, I mean having a fallback in case things don't go right, okay? I'll share a personal story. When I was starting the Duke's Farm, there are a couple of challenges that we faced. Of course, quitting a job, and of course, going into farming, and then you haven't tried some of the things that you want to do. It becomes a little bit hard because you don't know where the market is. You're not very certain of how you're going to raise animals or how you're going to grow crops, among many other things. You could be actually faced with a lot of uncertainties. Now, the reason as to why I'm making this video is because I do not want you to be faced with these uncertainties, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when is the right time to actually quit your job to start farming? The right time will definitely come when you have actually started something. I usually tell people that use your job to be able to start up something. While you're still at your job, start farming at a small level. Test the deep waters and see, is it something I can go into before I actually quit? Is it something that can be sustainable? But also make sure you save some money aside just to take care of you as you're venturing into farming. Say, for example, if you've chosen to quit, make sure you have enough saving, you've saved up enough money that is going to take you for roughly around 6 months or even a year without you changing your lifestyle. By changing your lifestyle is without you lacking anything, even if you're not working. Why am I saying 6 months? At least 6 months are a reasonable time when you venture. For example, when you go into rabbit keeping, at least you make your first sale roughly around 4 or 5 or 6 months from the time you started. The same applies to chicken, the same applies to goats, and all these other ventures, ladies and gentlemen. There are other ventures that could take you a year before you actually make a sale. So that is why I'm advising people that before you quit, make sure you've saved up enough money to actually take you for at least 6 months, if not 1 full year, without you considering getting any money from whatever venture, agriculture venture you'll have chosen going into. Point number 2 is you need to consider agriculture as a project, because then this will mean that you will apply all the methods of project management to pursue your farming ambition, and therefore you need to create a blueprint and then enter or start your rabbit or your chicken or your goat or whatever farming venture you have chosen, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, when you choose farming as a project, it means it will require a couple of things. To start with, you will need to gather data. You'll need to do a lot of analysis. What is happening around you? What are the new technologies and methods involved in farming? About your area, look at the soil, look at the climate, the types of crops grown, the yields, the seeds, the market value of crops, and the financial analysis, etc, etc. Get as much data as you can, because then it will guide you in terms of how much will you need when you want to start up something. What areas are you going to look at to put your farm? Depending on the weather conditions in that particular area. Different crops perform better in different regions of the country. So you need to understand all those small dynamics when it comes to farming before you actually quit your job to go into this venture, because you could choose a region and a crop that is not favorable, and before you know it, you've lost your money, your hard-earned money, ladies and gentlemen. Another point that you need to do when you've considered farming as your job when you quit is to set goals. Now, these goals could be periodic in terms of weekly, monthly, or quarterly, or half a year, or annually, okay? Now that you have the data you collected, start setting your goals. And in my professional terms, we used to call it KPIs. For example, how much you want to earn, how much yield you want to have, what you will want to achieve via farming. Can your farming ambition sustain alongside any other job? Those are some of the goals or the goals setting that you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. Because when you know how much you will need to invest, you will then, or even when you know how much you will be earning and how much it will take you, then you'll know how much it will need you to invest. Some of us go into agriculture when we don't have any idea of what we want to do. We are literally blind. So we just go there and hit whatever we find, and then before we know it, we again, wake up. You don't need to do that with your hard-earned money, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing that you need to do is planning. What sort of farming do you want to do? Is it the traditional one or the innovative one? So in case it is the traditional, the innovative one, you can employ different things. For example, vertical farming, vermicomposite, hydroponics, new methods of irrigation. You can also tap on the untapped market by innovating things like strawberry, mushrooms, exotic vegetables, herbs, and other niche crops. Now, planning your operations is one way of actually succeeding in agriculture, okay? So plan your farm operations for the next 2 or 3 seasons and try to project your figures from that. Well, as of course, I may agree with you that it is not possible to project exact figures by trying to at least create an estimation. It will serve you better than shooting arrows in the dark. Like I said, it is not very important for you to start without having those particular projections, because it is then that these projections will help you determine some of the things that you will do before you actually start your farming venture, okay? You will then, after doing a plan, you'll need to do what we call implementation. After you've done the data analysis, you've captured the plan, you've set goals, it is now time for implementation. The implementation may not necessarily be, come at once. So while you're still at your work, try to implement some of these things small, one thing at a time, one thing at a go, because agriculture is tricky, is really, really tricky. You could invest your 30 million and then at the end of the day, make losses that you may not have, gotten prepared for. So the other thing is, getting feedback, from the different things that you've done, different people that have seen your workers, getting feedback from them. Also you yourself, getting the feedback from how things have actually been performing is the best way you can actually handle this. So please, before you quit your job, make sure you do some of these things. Otherwise, you're going to find it hard for you to actually establish yourself in the farming sector. That's all I had for you today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I have been able to open a few eyes here and there. Just before you quit, make sure you do a couple of necessary planning as well. My name is Dennis Duke, Uganda. If you're new here, please subscribe. I can be reached on these numbers just for further interactions. Until then, it's a goodbye.